Alrighty, let me see. I'm gonna get everything all set up. Make sure everything is running correctly because I haven't streamed on Twitch in a while. Decided to try this out because I have I don't know, kind of do a live thing, and I know someone else that does this. I haven't done my podcast on here before. I want to do an episode on fasting. I'm actually fasting right now. In fact, mostly water fasting. I've had kombucha, what didn't really have many calories in it. But yeah, it's something I've been doing, kind of for health reasons, for a variety of health reasons, but also helps with losing weight as well too. There's several different kinds, and this is something that has been done for quite a long time if you look back into some of the kind of biblical accounts in the Bible, but also on like other Eastern philosophy and religions and stuff like that. This has been done for religious, spiritual purposes, which I think it can help with that. A big influence was actually, I watched this movie, I think it's called Fast or Fasting. It's on Gaia. I believe it's maybe on Amazon Prime as well too. I watch a lot of Gaia as of late. Yeah. But yeah, there's several different kinds. I've mostly just been doing kind of the intermittent fasting and the water fasting, but there's also the fasting mimicking diet, the dry fasting, and also juice fasting. They all have different kind of benefits and disadvantages. The fasting mimicking diet, it seems like the kind of more a little bit more involved, similar to juice fasting, in that you basically have I want to say about 2 or 3 meals throughout the day, and I know there's only like one really method or way that you can do, or that you're supposed to do it because it's backed by Prolon and it's a company, but there is a sort of do-it-yourself thing. You basically eat very little, and it seems to be kind of the higher protein and stuff like that. I haven't done that. It seems a little bit more involved. I kind of like to do intermittent fasting. In intermittent fasting, as with all fasting, you really need to build up. So you can't just what am I talking about? Oh, you can't just sorry, I'm trying to get used to all this, especially with not having 2 screens anymore. You really want to build up, so you don't want to start out like doing like a 5 or 10 day fast of some kind. There are centers and places where you can get like kind of be monitored while you do a water or I believe a juice fast. You want to look into it because even in the documentary I watched recently on it, there are some that are really reputable, and they help with a ton of different conditions, especially when things haven't responded to any other kind of treatment. But there are ones that aren't as reputable, and people have gone literally insane. Like there was a crazy story where someone had like psychosis and all kinds of issues, and it took like a long time for it to come back. And that is with water fasting, but I know of at least one center for juice fasting. I know with water fasting you really need to make sure you have electrolytes, so even though I'm mostly just drinking water, I make my own electrolyte mix. I put it in my book recently. It's pretty simple. We can kind of adjust it some, but I use some potassium bicarbonate, magnesium, some sea salt. I also add in some vitamin C. These also help kind of the adrenals, and they also help with overall health as well too. And I sometimes add like a little liquid stevia, and I actually have like a beet. It's beets powder for like nitric oxide and stuff as well too. You don't really have to add that or the vitamin C to it. I do try to add a little vinegar and lemon juice to it as well too. But yeah, water fasting I normally just do about it one day. I wouldn't do fasting unless it's advised around like if you're really sick. I mean, sometimes it works. I know that animals typically, if they don't feel well, they'll kind of fast or not eat for a while. if you've had surgery, or like say if you donate plasma or blood, which is I do, and I'm in between donation days, so this is why I do the water fasting for about 24 hours. Probably actually a little bit more if you take into but intermittent fasting is something kind of easy to kind of start with and build up to. I know some people that just do, although it's technically not fasting, I know this is more Dave Asprey Bulletproof, is they have like kind of like a bulletproof beverage, so they'll have say like coffee or cocoa or tea, and they'll blend it with either cream or butter or coconut cream, and they'll maybe add like some low sugar low sugar or low carb sweeteners. I had a complete brain fart. And I've done that before, but because typically if you really look at how people eat, you really shouldn't be eating that much or really at all before bed. It can keep you up and cause acid reflux. That's actually something I learned from Elon Musk when he was on Joe Rogan show lately. But you want to build up to it, because if you look at it, really people sleep for about 8 hours, generally eat through those 16 hours, whether it be meals or snacks. And so you want to take it down to maybe like 12 hours, and you want to do this slowly over a week or days or weeks, because with a lot of things, a lot of health stuff, you really want to kind of see how your body responds and take it slow. So you go from 16 hours to which is kind of normal, to say like 12 hours, and then you take it down to maybe like 8 hours. And then what I've been doing actually is I will just eat like one meal a day, and it'll be pretty large, and this helps give your kind of a break on your digestive system. It helps your body kind of also kind of detox, but also it helps with longevity. It's shown that people that have fasted, I think even in animal studies, that they've lived longer. It helps with a ton of different stuff, and it helps lower insulin and blood sugar, and which really helps. And I think fasting really helps a lot with weight loss. I do think calories matter to a point, but it really depends on like what your macros are. And I do think, well, I am a kind of fan of kind of a ketogenic diet. I think it's good to be cyclical ketosis. So 1 or 2 days a week, you can up the carbs, whether it be more fruit and vegetables, or even a little bit of starches, and it keeps your metabolism flexible, and it helps with metabolic flexibility. Anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, and then you can take it down to one meal a day. And I tried this for a while, but it wasn't really doing right. I actually do kind of like one meal a day, and then I will try to make maybe like a bulletproof-ish beverage, where I'll have like some cacao with maybe some cream or butter, and maybe like a little bit of like low carb, like pretty much no calorie sweetener. And you want to, even if you do like restrict your eating, you want to keep it pretty healthy. If you eat a bunch of junk or carbs, it's kind of going to negate it, and it's going to give you those hunger pangs. Another thing you can also do is, when you're fasting, is you can have, I want to say maybe a little bit of broth, a little bit of like just pure fat, although that's technically not fasting. But also, if you wanted, strictly fast, some herbal teas and stuff as well too, because those don't really have any calories in them, and it's not going to really affect it. Dry fasting is not something I have tried. I think it's a bit extreme. I don't think, of all the different kinds of fasting, it doesn't have as much research and kind of stuff behind it. And it means you can't really eat or drink anything. And it's supposed to, I remember there was I believe it's Sasha Daygame was on it episode, or was talking to Josh Mason, and Sasha Daygame, he's more into dating and pickup, but he also does alternative health, and he has Infinite and Summit. And supposedly, if you do dry fasting, it'll use like kind of like your water reserves or whatever in your body. I think it's a little much. It seems a little extreme. because you basically have to subsist on everything. I think it could mess up your minerals and other stuff as well too. Um, but yeah, there's also juice fasting. I think this could help with kind of losing weight. I would try to stick to more low carb vegetables and fruits. I do kind of use a variety. I do like to use some kind of herbs and spices sometimes. I haven't really done this because you really have to, especially if you're going to do it beyond like a day or two, you really have to juice a lot, and then you have to store it, and then you have to drink it throughout, which is something I really haven't done. As far as like in fasting with water fasting or the other fasting, I have like tried to do a sea salt flush at the beginning of it. I don't know if I would really recommend that. There was something Josh Mason posted in the Detox Dudes about. He actually does like takes like these enzymes and stuff, and then he at the end he kind of does like a variation of a liver flush where he'll drink some lemon juice and some olive oil, and then he'll down it and it'll kind of flush his liver and stuff. I haven't tried that. If you're fasting, I would try to not do too much exercise. I think maybe like a little bit of Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga would be beneficial. I wouldn't do something really strenuous. I wouldn't really like fast, especially if you're like constantly working out. I think maybe like one meal a day or whatever. I do take breaks. Like right now, I do maybe about 3 or 4 days of probably the intermittent fasting, and then I do 1 day of water fasting. On days I donate, I don't really like restrict myself because typically before I donate, I want to eat. Otherwise, I won't have a good donation, and then afterwards, I'm generally pretty hungry. So, but you want to kind of look and see how your body responds. It does take a while to kind of get used to. So it's not something that, especially starting out, you'll probably get hunger pains. You'll probably feel out of it because I also take a break on my supplements when I'm water fasting, except for some of the powdered ones I take. But over time, you actually feel pretty decent, and you don't have to worry about as much as food, and stuff like that. But yeah, I would recommend, watching the documentary if you are trying to lose weight. Especially, I think this helps with a lot of people that have kind of stubborn weight loss and stuff like that. I think another issue that causes kind of stubborn weight gain, but also difficulty losing weight, is also cortisol, which I believe is generally fucked up with most people, or elevated, especially if you're not able to sleep at night. So that is also something to look into if you are having trouble losing weight. This is one of the things, because I've been able to lose about 20-ish pounds, trying to lose a lot more. But I think this, with kind of like detoxing and stuff like that, has really helped kind of lose weight. And it can really kind of supercharge it. I think you lose more this way than just doing like calorie restriction or restricting a little bit, because I've never really been a fan of that. I think even if you do it just a little bit and kind of counting calories, I know people have success with that. I'd rather not worry about so much about that, and just do some fasting and then be fine. I think this is a much, I guess, better, faster way to lose weight, but also improve your health. It also helps with longevity. I know in the documentary, they talked to a few people that, it's helped them with cancer. It's helped them with, someone had like these migraine headaches, and she had to do several kind of long-term water fast, but she was able to overcome that and be headache free. It can also sometimes help, sometimes worsen if you have a eating disorder. I wouldn't, if you have something kind of like orthorexia, anorexia, or bulimia, I'll be kind of cautious about trying something like this. I think you kind of need to eat normally and then go into that. I've never had an issue with that, but maybe a little bit of binge eating, but that's about it, really. And also, speaking of, when you kind of come out of fast, you want to still, because sometimes if you fast for like a day, or even if you just eat, sometimes you'll be really starving, you still want to eat right, because if you eat a bunch of junk, then it's kind of self-defeating, and it's defeating the purpose of it. So, yeah, I think that's about really all I have to say on that. If you have a guy, I may try and see if I can get affiliate or something, referral. I really like that. It's kind of a streaming service for kind of alternative health, spirituality, and philosophy. There's a lot of kind of new age kind of stuff that's a little out there, but I like to kind of research that, and there are some really good documentaries on that. That's where I saw the root cause one, but also the fasting one, and there's a ton of other ones as well too. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really see. Oh, it looks like I dropped some frames. Damn. Okay, so what? Oh. Okay. Shit. Yeah. So that's about it. I accidentally ended up ending the recording. I didn't realize I did that. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'll see you guys around. Feel free to message me, check out the affiliate links, at least on my podcast. I may be doing this more often. I don't really know. I may try doing kind of Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or even YouTube Live, just because I feel it's more interactive. So far, I don't really have any viewers. I haven't streamed in a while, but I'll see you all later.